Welcome once again to another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. I'm Steve Gamache, and what we have is the Kurosaki Fujin VG-10 Gyuto 210mm knife. So this line of knives uses a hardcore center cutting edge steel of VG-10 full stainless steel. Heat treat is about 60-61 Rockwall in that core steel. The construction is multi-layered full stainless cladding, soft stainless cladding on either side of that hard center full stainless steel, so it's a definitely all stainless knife. This knife has a lot aesthetically going on, but the cladding is multiple layers. You can see the kind of etched pattern coming out from the blade grind down towards the edge, so kind of a Damascus, or some people call it a suminagashi, which is like a layered paper pattern. And then we've also got a very dynamic, aggressive looking kind of slashed rain, driving rain type impressions in the sides of the blade. So it's a really cool aesthetic. And we also have some laser engraved kanji on the blade. It's the kind of job that you can feel it when you move your fingers across it, and unless you look really close, even maybe under magnification, it's got a pretty authentic look to it. It's not authentically hand chiseled, but it looks pretty darn nice, and it's a nice effect. So again, a lot visually going on with this blade. These will vary just a little bit from weight, dimensions, spine thickness from sample to sample, but this particular one is 143 grams or 5 ounces. So it's a light blade. It's about 214mm on the edge, 8.4 inches, so it's got a bit of size to it. And the overall length is about 360mm or 14.2 inches. Spine thickness at the back, these are usually 3-ish millimeters coming out of the handle, but then they thin out pretty darn quick. So don't let that bother you in terms of performance. This knife is an absolute laser performer. I've been playing with it a fair amount, in relatively speaking, in a home environment. But about 3¼ millimeters here, and then I measured it about 2 millimeters at the midpoint of the blade, about halfway down, and then we get a little bit of taper coming into that, but then it thins out. They've got a pretty generous grind here, and it thins out very nicely towards the tip. The tip is superb on this thing, it just blows through products like onions and such. It's a very good performing knife, as well as, of course, the thinness at the edge. So here's the choil shot, and you can see again, this is a nice thin at the edge grind on this. So this is like a laser performing knife. It's absolutely stellar in performance. The blade height is about 48mm at the heel, and handle is the kind of tried and true octagonal rosewood black packawood ferrule handle with nice fit and finish. Usually pretty consistent fit and finish on these, and a nice tight handle installed with the glue up joint there where that comes out of the handle. You've got a bit of a neck here into a nice gentle curve in the choil or the back of the blade, so you've got a great spot there for your finger on a pinch grip. So this knife pinches great. Balance point is just about right there. And for me, that's like on the money for a pinch grip. So this is a very neutral feeling blade. It's only 5 ounces, this particular sample, so it's, you know, it's a light, nimble, kind of laser style knife, but with a little bit of backbone to it and a fair amount of stiffness to the blade. You've got a little bit of flex towards the front, but overall it's a pretty stiff blade. Again, it's a real pleasure to use this thing. Let's see, handle circumference, I measure where the two materials meet was about 73mm or 2.9 inches. Let's get a close-up look at this, get our beauty shot. Again, there's a lot going on with this knife, but it's the fit and finish is very good on it. You've got your laser engraved kanji, you've got the really cool looking kind of aggressive pattern here on the sides of the blade, and then you've got your layers showing up at the grind where they polished it. This is the core steel peeking out from behind the cladding layers, and then that shiny part is the actual polished edge bevel, the cutting edge. So here's the left side of the blade as you'd be using it, holding it. They've got a little bit of polish on the spine, a little bit of relief on the corners of the top of the spine, a relief and some polish on the back of the blade, the choil into the neck. So, you know, aesthetically speaking, it's nicely finished, it's very comfortable. 6, maybe 7 out of 10 edge on this, so it's quite sharp out of the box. And I don't really push edge retention on. I'm not a high volume pro cook or anything, but so far the edge retention's been very respectable on this. And again, nice fit and finish. The performance is fantastic on this thing. And here is our edge profile. So it's really just a good all-around versatile profile. Nothing kind of weird or standoutish on any kind of peculiarities. So it kind of flows into a gentle stop in the back. You got a little bit of back belly to it. Again, profiles can vary just a little bit on knife to knife or sample to sample, but you've got some, you know, very low belly, flattish area towards the back half of the blade, and then kind of a gentle belly into a midpoint tip. It doesn't get real high on a rock, but it gets high enough. And again, if you sharpen and maybe upsweep the last couple of millimeters of the tip, you can actually get a little higher, you know, rock on it before the tip wants to start digging into the cutting board. So I think it gets pretty respectable on that, and it'll definitely be great for push-pull cutting, glide cutting, maybe a little chopping towards the back. So I found it to be an easy-to-use profile, and you know, use and kind of putting it through some paces in a home environment. So just anyway, very really nice knife. It looks great. It's got a lot going on with it. For some people, it might be a little overkill, but it's definitely a conversation starter. All stainless for real easy maintenance on it. Thin at the edge, thin at the tip, light, nimble. It's just a really nice package. So this is the Kurosaki Fujin VG-10 Gyuto 210mm knife.